Hello, everyone. It's nice to meet you all, and it was very great for me to be able to present one of a part of my dissertation. I am Melania with NSTT, and I am a graduate program student at Semarang State University. And in doing my dissertation, I am supervised by Prof. Januarius Mujianto and also Dr. Dwi Anggani Linggajati L. Barati. In this occasion, it will be very pleasure for me to present one of the topic here is Indonesian local wisdom as the content for an English business presentation based on students' understanding and perception. Well, ladies and gentlemen, let me start with the introduction. So if you take a look at this slide, you know that in the global era, higher education graduates need to be able to take a part in the global era situation, especially for their future, in their for their job later, and also for their success in business later. So those graduates need to be equipped with the hard skills and also soft skills. Hard skills refer to the major and minor courses that take for about 140 up to 160 credits that they have to finish and they have to accomplish. To support that, to be able to come to the global era, to the global world, they have to be equipped with soft skills, which refers to team working, problem solving, coordinating, and also communicating. If you pay attention here, I highlight the communicating because this is my focus. And in communicating here, so the graduates need to be able to present something or to have the speaking ability, especially in negotiating and also in doing presentation or presenting something or presenting ideas. So I also highlight the presentation skills here as my discussion in these research studies. So especially here for English for Business President course. So a presentation skills here is embedded in the English for Business Presentation course, in which that as stated by the Minister of Education that they need national local wisdom and values to be embedded in the curriculum or syllabuses. Of course, in some universities and also in the university that I work, Indonesian University, they have the specific skills to learn about the national local wisdom, such as we call it character building of learning Pancasila. But then, the interesting thing here is that I want to embed this topic to the English business presentation course. And this is, as stated by the Minister of Education, is to introduce the local wisdom and values to the young generation. It is hoped that the graduates not only knowing the hard skill, but also they have the feeling, they have the understanding of their own local wisdom and values. So there are no previous lists talking about the content, local wisdom as the content of the business presentation skills or in the English courses. So here's the introduction. Therefore, I have two. I'm sorry. I have two objectives. The first one is to reveal the student understanding of local wisdom, namely Pancasila. So I focus on Pancasila as the local wisdom, as in Indonesian national values, and as the content for the English business presentation, and also to reveal their perception toward the use of Pancasila as the content for business presentation. So this is the theoretical framework that I use, the first one, and I use the English for specific purposes as an approach to language teaching in which all decision is all the content and method are based on the learner's research on learning. So therefore, the specific purpose is here that I choose business presentation. This one is refers to the form of public speaking with a defined topic which delivered from a speaker to the audience through linguistic, paralinguistic, and extralinguistics, such as gestures, spatial expression, the content, and the choosing of word. And you know that the business presentation here has the purpose of to give the information, to give the education, to give the motivation, and also to persuade audiences. So the third theoretical framework that I use is the local wisdom. It refers to the knowledge, belief, understanding, and customs or ethic that guide human behavior in ecological community. Well, ladies and gentlemen, now the fourth theoretical framework that I use is Pancasila as the philosophical basis of Indonesian state. You know that Pancasila is based on two Sanskrit words. Pancha means five, and Sila means principles. So it's also focused also on the emblem of Garuda Pancasila, which present the parts, colors, numbers of feathers, features that all of them have the meaning. So this is the base of the theoretical framework, and there will be also used for designing the data that the student have to present. So now I move to the method. We have method of data collection and method of data analysis. For the data collection, the participant here, if you can see, there are 60 students from two classes joining English Business Presentation course on the first semester. Those who join in these classes, they have minimum PBP TOEFL score of 500 out of 677. It means that they don't have any barrier in using English as the means of instruction in the classroom and means of presenting the ideas in business presentation. So two classes here as a part of the experimental project of this dissertation. One is the experimental class and the other one is the control class. So the tools that I use for the data collection is that a closed and open questionnaire given on the first session of the course before they start all the course. So this is the very beginning that they don't know anything about the courses yet. So beside the questionnaire, I use also virtual interview using social media for randomly selected participants only. So this is to find out the more detailed information about their answer from the questionnaire. So the data analysis that I use are there are a mixed method, quantitative and qualitative. The data were categorized into two areas. The first area is students' understanding of the topic, was analyzed qualitatively by presenting the chart. And the second area is students' perception, and it is analyzed by using quantitatively by having the calculation in the to find the average score and also present it qualitatively. Next, here are the results and the discussions. The first result is from students' understanding about Pancasila. There are 5 questions supported, distributed for the student or the participant. If you look at the chart is presented in the number of students who answer those questions, whether this is agree or disagree, or disagree in the neutral position or agree. However, the discussion here is presented in percentage to get the easy idea to answer. So let us take a look at the answer on the students' understanding. This is interesting that 83 students learn Pancasila from elementary school. The question is, where are the other 12? While the other 12 students did not learn from the elementary school since they studied in the international school abroad. It means that there is no value of Indonesian taught in that school. They start in the elementary or senior high school or even in the university when they study in Indonesia. So the next one is 80% of the students know each part of the Garuda Pancasila emblem. The rest, they are okay. The rest, they are not sure that they understand of all of the parts, and the other one, if they really don't know the part of that. So the next one that I will discuss is about 40% know the meaning of each part of the emblem from the 58 students. So this is finally that we can find that only 40% of all that know the meaning of each, while the 30% they do not know the meaning of each. And the next one is the 67% could mention each picture. So it means that in the emblem, there are some part of the picture, they are able to mention that. And 67% also could mention the picture in the seal. There is a specific picture in the emblem, that's the shield. And the shield contains of the 5 principles. So only 67 students are able to mention the picture, and 30% could explain the meaning of each, unfortunately. Then the last one is 20% could explain it in Bahasa Indonesia. The rest, they can also explain in English, but most of them, they don't not know how to explain, and even in Bahasa Indonesia, they cannot explain about that. Let me continue for the next finding and result. Is the result here is figure out they are the talking about the emblem of Garuda Pancasila and its values. So I focus on the values of the from the emblem that it support. Again, it presented in the number of students who answer that, agree, and neutral or disagree. While in the student here in the discussion, I presented in percentage. More than 75% could mention the 5%, and 17 could not, and the other in the neutral position. Okay, only mention a part of them. So 50% could mention the feather and its meaning and values, and 30% could not. So, and the emblem of Garuda Pancasila, its feathers representing like the date, the month, and the year of the independence. The good thing is that the 88% of the participants could explain the meaning of Bhinneka Tunggal Ika, which means of unity and diversity, then only 1.7% could not. It means that this idea of Bhinneka Tunggal Ika is very familiar for the students. And last one is 83% could not state the colors and their meaning and value, and only 27% could mention it. So this is a student understanding. Now I move to the second area, is talking about the students' perception. Here is the table of the category and average score after the calculation to figure out whether their perception is very low, low average, or very high, depending on the score after the calculation. Now, here is the result. If you look at this, overall, there are 5 questions, there are 5 statements over to the students, and here's the result of the score. If you take a look at the bottom on the right, the total average is 3.94, which means that it is quite high, but not very high. Okay, when the students are asked that they have to learn Garuda Pancasila in English version, because this is based on the English business presentation, students perceive it very high in the point of 4.5, and also still high. And when this is one student have to perceive that it is necessary for the students to learn the value of Indonesian national principle. Still very high. It's getting lower when students have to be able to explain the part of Garuda Pancasila in English. It's lower, but it still remain high. And it is lower again. The same for the 2 questions in the 3.5. They perceive about the need to be able to explain the emblem of Garuda Pancasila and its meaning, and also explain Pancasila and its value in English. So all of the result is still say this is perceived very high. And now the result of discussion here about student perception, the use of local wisdom for business presentation topic. When look at the statement, there are 5 statements also, and when you look at the the overall or the total average, they show this is in average, it's not high. As you know, this is given before the courses is given. So at the first meeting, it means that they don't know what they have to face for the 13 sessions after the first session. So they still have any perception that the content of the business presentation should be everything about business. But take a look at this one. How they perceive that local wisdom will be interesting for topic business presentation. They still perceive an average. They still perceive high, the 3.87. But then when the statement is about this is good, local wisdom has good value to share through the business presentation. This is very low, and having 2.62 in the average from the table, this is the average result. And also when this is interesting to be able to explain the emblem in English, it's also perceived in the average. It's not too high, it's not too low either. So what about interesting to use Pancasila to use as a, value as the content of business presentation? This is getting very the lowest. They are not sure whether they want to have business presentation or using the Pancasila and its values. This is also have the relation with the um the previous discussion talking about that they're very low in understanding, and the understanding about Pancasila is quite an average or low. And the last question here, whether it's interesting to use Pancasila and its meaning for the content of this presentation, then they keep that this is very interesting, but they are not sure, so that the answer is in average. So then finally, I come to the conclusion of the discussion that from the students' understanding, most students understand Pancasila, especially the part and the meaning of the emblem, because they have already learned it from elementary school. But then most students know the emblem, okay, most students know the emblem of Garuda Pancasila and its value, although they are not able to explain it in detail, or if they can explain it, they explain it in Bahasa Indonesia. And most students know Pancasila and its meaning, but not for its values. For the perception here is that the overall result is on average, since they think it is not common to have Pancasila as the content of business presentation. It's different idea. And then some students perceive highly the use of Pancasila and its value in the topic content of the business presentation. Although this is have the very perceived highly, but they perceive also highly in using English to explain the content of this presentation. But then they have to think that this is still the average. They need to learn about that more. Well, everyone, uh, here is only one suggestion that I give it to the audience, or to the especially for the future researchers. Since it is limited only for 2 classes in experimental design of the research, for the future researchers, there's still some gaps to find out same research studies for a bigger scope. Maybe for one of the first semester student in one university. The content of the participant of as the participant as of the research. So this is all that I want to discuss about this. Thank you very much for being attentive listeners, and this is all that I can say. Thank you very much. See you in the next presentation. Goodbye.